A systematic effort to destroy every black male entertainer's image. They want us all to have an actress by our name.
They did not get along.
In real life?
In real life.
I did not know this.
Yeah. Like
okay.
we didn't get. But every single week before taping, we'd come together, we'd put our hands together, we'd bow, and we'd pray before we go out there.
Two men who straight up couldn't stand each other, locking hands in prayer before stepping into a war zone. Not a movie scene, real life. For 4 years, every single week, Malcolm-Jamal Warner and Eddie Griffin set their beef aside to fight a battle most folks didn't even realize was happening. This wasn't just acting, this was survival. Eddie Griffin been sounding the alarm for over a decade.
Whatever happened to integrity, man, huh? How many brothers gotta wear?
Calling out Hollywood's silent war against outspoken black men, men who don't bow down. And what he called the emasculation program? It wasn't no joke, but even Eddie couldn't have predicted what went down with his former co-star. On July 20th, 2025, everything changed.
Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner, widely known for starring in the hit TV sitcom The Cosby Show, has died.
When Eddie heard Malcolm had passed, he didn't just toss out a basic RIP nah, he hit Instagram and dropped a straight-up bomb. A post that didn't just mourn Malcolm. It exposed what really took him out. He wrote, "My heart is heavy today, for what the world lost was a father, a son, a poet, a musician, an actor, a teacher, a writer, a director, a friend, a warrior that I had the pleasure of going to war with against the Hollywood machine, and sometimes with each other, because that's what brothers do. But the love was and is always there." Catch that? He didn't say, "We worked together." He said, "We went to war." That's soldier talk. That's what you say when somebody dies fighting an enemy. The war started on the set of Malcolm and Eddie. They thought they were building a platform for real black representation, but what they walked into was a battlefield. Every script was a chess match.
So it was, for me, it was like going from a top university to junior college. Because I'm saying, look, we can actually be funny without doing the stereotypical stuff. And no one was really interested in that route. They're like, we didn't bring you over here for that. This is what we do.
Every scene, a silent protest against a system that wanted them to play the clown, dance like trained monkeys. Malcolm wasn't just dealing with creative disagreements. He was in a war of the mind. They took America's favorite TV son and tried to break him, humiliate him for views. And when he said no, that machine turned cold. They made it to 88 episodes, just 12 shy of hitting that syndication jackpot. Generational wealth money. But they pulled the plug. Why? Because Malcolm and Eddie refused to stay in their lane. That's when they both learned the real rules out here. You can fight, but you can't win. You can speak up, but they got bigger weapons ready. And if you become a threat, if you start telling folks the truth out loud, they got one last play left, the final solution.
Even though we were at odds, what we both understood is we get to 100 episodes, we're going to have a sweet vacation deal. Ultimately, they cut us at 88. Because they were tired. They were tired of me fighting with the writers, and then they were tired of Eddie's shenanigans.
Eddie's been screaming about this for years. His stand-up routines, those were intel drops, not comedy sets. Reports from behind enemy lines. And he didn't hold back, especially when it came to how Hollywood plays black men. He called it for what it is, emasculation on purpose. Look at the pattern. Every major black male celeb been made to wear a dress at some point. You think that's random? Nah, that's conditioning. Strip away the masculinity, throw them some fame and money like a bone, and watch the world cheer. But the part that still gives folks chills? Eddie's warning about Cosby. Long before the media circus, he said it. No black man leaves Hollywood clean. He wasn't guessing. He knew the script. Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. One by one, every powerful black man who built real influence ended up caught in some scandal.
Reason number one, why they came after Bill Cosby.
If a black man does something, it says, John Jones, black list, said black, black, black. Now, if a white man does it, it isn't white man Jones, it's just a man.
Careers wrecked, legacies twisted, and the timing always suspicious, always strategic. This ain't about white man Jones, it's just about a man, Eddie said. And with that, he ripped the cover off the media games. See, when white celebs get caught up in scandals, they stay individuals, isolated incidents. But when it's a black star, suddenly it's a stereotype, a trend, a warning label. That double standard ain't by accident, it's psychological warfare designed to keep black entertainers in line, afraid to step out of place. But Malcolm-Jamal Warner, he stopped playing that game. And when he did, the machine hit the kill switch.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
Something shifted in Malcolm's last year. The same man who'd played it safe for decades, walking that tightrope between truth and survival, suddenly stopped holding back. His Instagram became a battlefield. Every post, a bullet aimed straight at the programming Eddie had been calling out for years. This wasn't art anymore. It was war. Malcolm started naming names, calling out the content pushed onto black audiences, the music, the messaging, the trauma disguised as entertainment. He said what many were too scared to admit: the industry ain't just profit-driven, it's mind control. And the ones pulling the strings, they're counting on us staying distracted, divided, and dumbed down. But Malcolm wasn't having it, and the timing couldn't have been worse for Hollywood. Epstein's network was finally catching heat, and whispers about deep-rooted corruption were climbing higher and higher. Now here comes Malcolm, Theo Huxtable himself, dropping poetic bombs and telling folks what's really going on behind the velvet curtains. He wasn't just talking about racism, he was exposing the system. His final video? Chilling. Malcolm looked like a man running out of time, smiling through it but eyes telling another story, talking about being back soon with that forced optimism, but you could feel it. That wasn't a comeback message. That was a silent goodbye. 3 days later, he was gone, drowned off the coast of Costa Rica. No witnesses, no foul play, just another accident filed away while a truth teller got permanently silenced. And Eddie, he didn't miss the pattern. He'd been documenting it for years.
Life is out here lifing, right? For me and for everybody else. But just wanted to remind you, as I remind myself, that no matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile.
He never said Cosby was innocent or guilty. That wasn't the point. Eddie was breaking down the strategy. He laid it all out, how the accusations only popped up when Cosby tried to buy NBC, how the stories waited 30 years, conveniently outside the statute of limitations, how the media blitz was too perfectly timed. It's not about justice, it's about destruction. Reputation first, then legacy, then life. Michael Jackson, about to take full control of his catalog, dead. Prince, fighting for his masters, dead. Whitney Houston, surging back, ready to tell her story, dead. Now Malcolm, most beloved black TV son, is gone, right when he got loudest. It's the same formula every time, and Eddie been shouting this from the jump. He said it clear: if they can't smear you, they'll bury you. If ruining your name doesn't shut you up, they make sure you don't speak again. Malcolm was building something they couldn't let live. His podcast, Not All Hood, flipped the script on every lazy stereotype the industry pushed for years. His poetry cracked open the psychological warfare. His interviews didn't just question Hollywood, they connected the dots to broader systems meant to break black minds and spirits. And he was doing it all with credibility. That's what scared them most. He was Theo Huxtable. He had the trust, he had the love, and when a man like that starts telling the truth, they start running out of ways to stop him. You can't tear down America's favorite TV son with some weak smear campaign. You can't blacklist a man that beloved, too respected, too connected.
To die clean.
I mean, everything that Bill Cosby has built up, the decades of work that he stood behind.
The man has, single-handedly, sent a bunch of brothers and sisters to college.
So when character hits don't stick and career sabotage falls flat, the machine brings out its last weapon: 3 days after Malcolm-Jamal Warner's body was found in the waters off Costa Rica, Eddie Griffin posted a tribute that shook the internet. Not just because of what he said, but how he said it. My heart is heavy today, for what the world lost was a father, a son, a poet, a musician, an actor, a teacher, a writer, a director, a friend, a warrior that I had the pleasure of going to war with against the Hollywood machine, and sometimes with each other, because that's what brothers do. But the love was and is always there. That's not grief, that's code. Eddie didn't describe an entertainer, he called Malcolm a warrior. He didn't say we worked together, he said they went to war. In Hollywood, he didn't call it an industry, he called it the machine. That's the same word used by activists when they talk about systemic oppression. This wasn't some emotional outburst, it was a confirmation. Eddie was speaking straight to those who know the signs. He was telling us Malcolm died fighting the battle Eddie had been exposing for years. And the timing, that's what made it louder. Most celebs wait hours or even days to post a response. Publicists write something neat, something sanitized. Not Eddie. His tribute hit almost instantly, raw, unfiltered, like a man who wasn't shocked.
Artist, to be a conscious artist of color, you're constantly having to pick your battles. And, at some point you have to, really decide what your boundaries are. What are the things that you undoubtedly stand for.
But waiting for the call, because he knew Malcolm had stopped playing safe. He wasn't moving careful no more. In his final months, he was swinging from every angle, dropping truth bombs on his podcast, writing mind-bending poetry on Instagram, and connecting the dots between entertainment, oppression, and deep-rooted corruption. Malcolm had crossed the line. He went from being a managed rebel to a straight-up threat, and Eddie's tribute, that was his way of saying the machine moved exactly how he said it would. But to understand why Malcolm flipped the script so hard in that final year, you gotta understand the woman who shaped him, Michelle Thomas. Her death in 1998 changed Malcolm forever. This wasn't some Hollywood fling. Michelle wasn't just his co-star, she was his peace, his grounding force, and later, his guardian from beyond. She played Justine Phillips, Theo Huxtable's sweet, smart, ride-or-die girlfriend on The Cosby Show. But off-screen, their bond ran deeper than any script could capture. Michelle, born to Caribbean parents in Boston, came into Hollywood with values solid as a rock. She wasn't one of those young actresses willing to lose herself for a role. She picked her projects with care, spoke up about representation, never sold out, and Malcolm, he fell in love with that. Not just her looks, but her principle. While the industry tried to crush young black talent, Michelle stood her ground. She was proof that you could keep your soul in a place designed to rip it out. Their 5-year relationship wasn't just love, it was a blueprint. Michelle taught Malcolm how to stay real in a fake world, how to stay grounded while chasing the spotlight. But then came cancer. Michelle was just 28 when she got diagnosed, and even in the face of death, she chose grace. No bitterness, no fear, just clarity. When she took her final breath, Malcolm was there, literally in the hospital bed, holding her as she left this world. That moment broke him, but it also built him. For 27 years after that, Malcolm carried Michelle with him. Every role he took, every public stance, every choice, filtered through one question: what would Michelle do? That wasn't about memories, that was about survival. Because in this business, staying clean means having an anchor, and Michelle was his anchor, his compass in a sea of snakes. But then, in his final year, something snapped, something changed. The man who spent decades walking the tightrope, balancing Michelle's moral compass with Hollywood survival, finally let go of the act. Malcolm stopped sugarcoating, stopped playing the game. In his last Instagram posts, when he talked about being tired of running for shade, he wasn't just venting, he was freeing himself. That was Malcolm, choosing truth over safety. It was the kind of raw honesty Michelle Thomas would have been proudest of. He wasn't filtering his resistance anymore, he was owning it. And in doing so, he became what Hollywood fears most, a man they couldn't control, just like Michelle. too pure for the industry to twist, and just like her, too dangerous for the machine to let live. He made the highest choice, the one that comes with a price, a choice that Eddie Griffin knew all too well. Eddie's tribute wasn't just saying goodbye, it was calling it out for what it was. A takedown, not a coincidence, not a tragic fluke, but the quiet execution of a warrior who refused to back down in a war most people still don't even realize is happening. You really think Malcolm's death was random? Let's be real. Malcolm-Jamal Warner didn't just drown, he was taken out. He got too bold, too loud, too smart. His Instagram poetry exposed the mental programming. His podcast shattered racial stereotypes. His interviews peeled back the curtain on the entertainment industry's role in systematic oppression. He was pulling the mask off the machine, and Eddie Griffin knew what that meant. His tribute wasn't just emotion, it was strategy. By calling Malcolm a warrior, Eddie confirmed what others only whispered, that the war is real, that there are casualties, and that anyone who threatens the machine's control over black minds and stories becomes a target. In the end, Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death proves Eddie's darkest warning. In Hollywood, no conscious black entertainer walks away clean, and the ones who refuse to play by the rules, they don't walk away at all. The machine claimed another one, but Eddie made sure this time they don't get to sweep it under the rug. Malcolm's voice won't be erased. His fight won't be forgotten. Rest in power, warrior. If this shook you the way it shook us, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more breakdowns, and hit the bell so you never miss what they don't want you to know. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.